Hello there, fellow traveler. If you've ever found yourself Googling first-time cruise tips, binge-watching ship tours at midnight, or wondering how to make a great impression on board, then you're in the right place. You see, most cruise guests, especially younger travelers or those new to sailing, truly want to be respectful. You want to show gratitude, be low maintenance, avoid being that passenger. But here's the twist. Sometimes what feels like the right thing to do can backfire. On a cruise ship, even small acts of politeness might be misunderstood, make a crew member uncomfortable, or worse, put their job at risk. So today on TravelVibes, we're lifting the curtain on 15 surprisingly common polite habits that actually make things harder for the crew. If that sounds helpful, be sure to hit subscribe, because smarter cruising starts right here. Number 1. Why cleaning up after yourself might get you side-eyed at sea. Let's say you just finished your lunch at the buffet. You're full, content, and like the good guest you are. You gather your plate, your napkin, even that last lonely French fry, and you go looking for a bin. After all, that's what you do at a food court back home, right? But here's the twist that surprises a lot of first-time cruisers, especially thoughtful folks in the US, who've been raised to clean up after yourself. On a cruise ship, picking up your own plate is not only unnecessary, it's kind of frowned upon. That's because the crew follows a very specific system to dispose of food and waste. Plates aren't just whisked away. They're processed, sorted, and sometimes even recorded. When you try to help, you might be messing up a process that's designed for safety and environmental compliance. So what looks polite on land? On board, it's more like politely confusing. Just leave the plate where it is. Seriously, you're not being lazy, you're playing by the rules of the sea. Number 2. Why marching your room service tray around isn't winning you points. Okay, so you've just finished your late-night snack. A cheeseburger, a slice of cake, maybe both. No judgment here. Now you're holding the tray like a hero, ready to return it somewhere, anywhere. You think, hey, I'll save the crew some time, I'll take this back myself. But here's the plot twist. On a cruise ship, that tray belongs right outside your door. Not down the hallway, not by the elevators, and definitely not back at the galley like you're auditioning for a role on Below Deck. Many U.S. travelers, especially those who pride themselves on being helpful and tidy, fall into this trap. But trays left in the wrong spot don't make things easier. They create traffic jams, food smells, and let's be honest, some seriously awkward tripping hazards. So next time, just set it gently outside your cabin and carry on. The tray's journey is already planned. You don't need to be its Uber driver. Number 3. Why your famous banana bread might be a cruise ship. No. We get it. You're generous. You love to cook. And after a few days on board, your cabin steward or favorite waiter starts to feel like part of the family. So you think, wouldn't it be lovely to share some of my homemade cookies or a little snack from home? It's a kind gesture and your heart's in the right place. But unfortunately, that kindness can quickly turn into a problem. Cruise ships have strict rules about outside food, and that includes anything homemade, even Grandma's famous fudge. For U.S. travelers especially, those who grew up bringing pies to neighbors and treats to teachers, this one feels counterintuitive. But for crew members, accepting homemade goodies could put their job or their health at risk. Instead, if you'd like to show appreciation, bring a sealed store-bought snack or a sweet handwritten note. Because on a cruise, love is best served, shrink-wrapped. Number 4. Why thank you is nice, but not quite enough at sea. You've just had the best service of your life. Your waiter remembered your name, your coffee order, and even brought you an extra croissant when no one was looking. Naturally, you smile wide and say, "Thank you so much, you're amazing." And yes, that moment feels warm and genuine. But here's what most U.S. cruisers, especially those new to sailing, don't realize. While kind words are appreciated, they fade fast. What really counts? Making it official. If a crew member truly made your cruise special, jot it down in the post-cruise survey. Mention their name. Mention the moment. That one line of praise could help them earn a bonus, a promotion, or even a well-deserved day off. So go ahead, keep saying thank you. But don't stop there. Write it, share it, submit it. That's how you turn appreciation into action. Number 5. Why suffering in silence won't win you any medals. We get it. You don't want to be that guest. The one who complains about lukewarm coffee or a squeaky door hinge, especially if you're a younger traveler from the US, where being chill and low maintenance is practically a badge of honor. So when your cabin AC feels more like a gentle sigh than a breeze, or your toilet's got a rebellious streak, you decide to tough it out. Maybe you'll mention it in your post-cruise review, or maybe you'll post a sarcastic meme about it on Instagram. But here's the truth most guests miss. The crew wants to fix things for you while you're still on board. They're trained to respond quickly. They can't read minds, but they can solve problems if you give them the chance. So speak up, kindly, clearly, and early. You're not being difficult, you're being proactive and helping everyone have a smoother sail. Number 6. Why slipping a 20 on day 1 isn't the power move you think it is. So you've checked in, your suitcase is still warm from the airport carousel, and you're already reaching for your wallet. Maybe you read on a travel forum that the secret to 5-star service is a crisp $20 bill handed to your room steward, along with a sly grin and the classic line, "There's more where that came from." Sounds smart, right? Well, not exactly. Here's the thing most American travelers, especially younger or budget-conscious cruisers, don't realize. Pre-tipping can actually make crew members uncomfortable. It creates pressure, sets unequal expectations, and in some cases may even be against ship policy. Most crew are already trained to deliver top-notch service to every guest, tip or no tip. So instead of trying to buy loyalty up front, let your kindness show naturally. Then, at the end of your voyage, tip with gratitude and a thoughtful thank you. It goes further than a handshake full of cash ever could. Number 7. Why playing housekeeper in your cruise cabin might backfire. If you're the kind of traveler who folds towels into swans just for fun, or you feel a strange thrill from straightening pillows, this one's for you. Many American cruisers, especially those who pride themselves on being neat, respectful guests, think they're helping by cleaning their cabin daily, hotel style. You might make the bed, organize the counter, even line up your shoes like a showroom. But here's the truth. While it's thoughtful, it's also totally unnecessary. In fact, it can throw off your steward's cleaning routine and hide signs they actually need to address. Cruise crew are trained not just to tidy, but to sanitize. And no offense, but your Lysol wipes from home? They're not part of the official protocol. So go ahead and toss your wrappers in the bin, but leave the deep cleaning to the experts. Trust me, they've got it down to a science, no towel origami required. Number 8. Why that friendly chat with the crew might be a time thief in disguise. Cruise crew are experts at making you feel like you're the most important guest on the ship. They smile, remember your name, and even ask how your day at port went. For many American cruisers, especially first-timers or solo travelers, it's easy to feel a friendly bond forming. So you linger, you ask about their hometown, their schedule, maybe even their favorite island stop. But here's what most don't see behind the scenes. Every extra minute spent chatting means another cabin left uncleaned, another drink order delayed, or another task they now have to rush through. Worse yet, their supervisors are watching the clock. Too much chit-chat, and that warm-hearted crew member might get pulled aside for a warning. So if they smile and talk, enjoy it, but read the room. A quick thanks and a knowing nod can sometimes be more respectful than a 10-minute story about your snorkeling adventure. Number 9. Why sweetie isn't always so sweet on a cruise ship. Back home, calling someone darlin' or hon might feel as natural as saying please and thank you. Especially for American cruisers raised in the South or Midwest, it's just how you show warmth. Harmless, right? But on a cruise ship, where the crew comes from dozens of cultures, and guests from even more, those little nicknames can quickly get lost in translation. What feels affectionate to you might come across as overly familiar, or worse, downright awkward. And if you add a friendly touch on the shoulder or a wink, well, now we've officially sailed into choppy waters. The best way to show kindness at sea is through respectful words and genuine gratitude. So go ahead, offer a compliment, but skip the pet names. On a cruise, thank you really is the new sweetheart. Number 10. Why playing hero during safety drills could sink the mood. You've got good intentions. Maybe you've captained a fishing boat, helped with a pontoon on your local lake, or you're just the helpful type who never lets anyone lift a heavy rope alone. But here's the reality: many U.S. travelers, especially those with boating experience or a DIY spirit, often overlook. Cruise ships operate under strict international maritime laws. That means only trained crew members are allowed to handle gangways, lifeboat mechanisms, or tender boarding procedures. So when you offer to give them a hand, you're not helping, you're actually putting yourself and others at risk. Not to mention, crew could get reprimanded just for letting you near that equipment. So when you see something that looks heavy, complicated, or vaguely nautical, resist the urge to jump in. Cheer them on from a safe distance, and let the pros do what they've trained for. You're on vacation, remember? Let someone else do the heavy lifting for once. Number 11. Why handing your trash to the crew isn't the clean gesture you think it is. Picture this. You're relaxing by the pool, enjoying your chips, and when you're done, you spot a crew member nearby. With the best of intentions, you hand over your empty bag and a slightly used napkin, thinking, I'll save them a step. But here's the behind-the-scenes scoop most U.S. cruise travelers don't know. Crew members are not allowed to take trash directly from guests. Not even a crumpled tissue or a gum wrapper. Why? Hygiene regulations. And if that tissue came from your nose, or worse, your toddler's diaper bag, we've officially crossed into biohazard territory. Cruise ships have designated waste bins everywhere for a reason. Using them keeps everyone safe, and it keeps the crew out of awkward situations. So next time, do your part. Toss it yourself. That one small move shows way more respect than a trash handoff ever could. Number 12. Why catching up with crew on shore might be a bit too much vacation energy. You've just stepped off the ship, the sun's shining, and there, by the souvenir stand, you spot your favorite bartender. The one who nails your mojito every night. Your first instinct? Wave big, shout their name, maybe even ask if they want to grab a quick selfie. But here's the thing: many U.S. cruisers, especially friendly, outgoing travelers, don't always realize that quick hello might be cutting into the only hour of peace that crew member gets all week. Most crew don't get days off like we do. Their shore leave is precious. It might be their only chance to call home, take a nap, or just breathe without a name tag. So if you see them off duty, give a warm smile or a small wave. But unless they strike up a chat, let them enjoy their break in peace. Even cruise superheroes need downtime to recharge. Number 13. Why asking about crew parties might sink the vibe. So you've heard whispers. Maybe it was your waiter joking about a crew-only karaoke night, or you caught a glimpse of a crew-only door and your curiosity kicked in. If you're like many cruise lovers from the U.S., especially first-timers or the outgoing, adventure-seeking types, you might feel tempted to ask, what really goes on back there? But here's the deal. Behind those doors lies a private world. A world where crew members finally get to let their hair down, be themselves, and unwind without a smile plastered on their face. These zones are off-limits to guests for good reason. It's about privacy, security, and simply giving the crew a sliver of space that's theirs, and theirs alone. So even if you're just asking out of friendly curiosity, skip the backstage pass request. Let the mystery live on, and let the crew enjoy their world offstage, without an audience. Number 14. Why bragging about your special perks might backfire at sea. Let's say your steward surprises you with a towel folded into the shape of your golden retriever. Or the sommelier waves your corkage fee with a wink and a smile. Naturally, if you're like many U.S. travelers, especially social media-savvy cruisers, you're tempted to snap a pic, toss on a hashtag, and share the magic. But here's where things can get tricky. That thoughtful gesture you received? It may have been a rare exception, a personal touch, or simply a right place, right time kind of thing. Once it hits the group chat or your Facebook cruise group, other guests might flood the staff with the same request. And when the crew can't deliver for everyone, it creates frustration, not fairy dust. So if you're lucky enough to get a little extra sparkle, smile, say thank you, and maybe keep it between you and the towel dog. That quiet gratitude? It speaks volumes. Number 15. Why buying a drink for the piano guy might hit the wrong note. Picture this. You're at the piano bar, the vibe is lively, and the entertainer just crushed your song request. You're impressed, grateful, maybe even a little giddy from your second margarita. So like many friendly U.S. cruisers, you raise your glass and say, Next one's on me. Seems harmless, right? A kind gesture. But here's what most guests don't realize. Many entertainers aren't allowed to drink on duty, and some can't accept drinks at all. Even if they say thank you, accepting it in front of others can lead to uncomfortable assumptions or even disciplinary action. And if you do it more than once, especially when you're alone, well, let's just say it might not come off as purely musical appreciation. If you really want to show your love for the talent, tip through the front desk or leave a glowing comment in your post-cruise feedback. That way, the applause lasts long after the last note. At the end of the day, being polite isn't about doing what feels right to us. It's about tuning in to what others actually need. And on a cruise ship where cultures, routines, and rules all operate differently from life back home, that awareness makes all the difference. True kindness is flexible. It listens, it adapts, and sometimes the most respectful thing you can do is not to act. So as you plan your next voyage, whether it's your first or your 15th, carry this with you. Kindness with wisdom leaves the biggest wake. If this gave you a new perspective, go ahead and tap that like button. Subscribe to TravelVibes for more real talk about cruising smart, and tell us in the comments, what's a polite move you thought was helpful? Until now. See you on deck, friends, and until then, keep sailing thoughtfully.